Welcome to Dulcimoon Talks,
where music, connection, and inspiration meet.
I'm DJ Hamoris.
And I'm Erin May Lewis.
Together, we're your hosts for these beautiful conversations that celebrate the vibrant women of the Dulcimer community.
Since June of 2022, Dulcimoon Talks have brought you into the lives and stories of extraordinary women, leaders, teachers, producers, and artists who are shaping and sharing the art of the dulcimer in unique ways.
Our guests come from all walks of life. Many balance their passion for dulcimers with careers far outside the music world, yet they all share one thing: a deep love for the dulcimer and the joy it brings to teaching, practicing, performing, and creating.
Each episode is an intimate journey exploring personal musical paths, sources of inspiration, and the beautiful ways dulcimers weave into our lives. Think of it as the kind of meaningful conversation you'd have while sharing a meal at a festival. A mix of insight, laughter, and heartfelt connection.
Whether you're a long-time dulcimer enthusiast or just curious about this amazing world, Dulcimoon Talks are here to inspire, inform, and delight.
We release new talks twice monthly and are thrilled to have you on this journey with us. Make sure to subscribe and join the growing community as we honor the magic of dulcimers and the people who make them sing.
Dulcimoon Talks, sharing stories,
celebrating connections,
keeping the music alive. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our most recent Dulcimoon Talk number 67, I think, my goodness, since June of 22. And we are so grateful that Ruth Smith has been able to join us all the way from the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina. Welcome, Ruth.
Thank you, DJ. It's really great to be here. Really grateful.
Well, it's wonderful. I'm so excited that you're going to be teaching at our Dulcimoon Festival, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But okay. I'm really excited to have you. We're getting good response already to registrations, which just opened up on Monday. So it's a really great time to be having our conversation. So you were mentioning something earlier when we were talking before we started, that you had 50 years of music experience before you ever got into dulcimer. I'm interested in that.
Yeah. Well, my mom used to take me to my dad's rehearsals before I was born. So my music started literally when I was in the womb. My dad was a professional clarinet saxophone player, played a lot of other instruments as well too, but he was very well known in his field. He was an educator and performer, and loved to make arrangements and stuff. So anyway, when Mom was pregnant with me, we were at Brevard Music Camp, which is in North Carolina mountains. My dad helped start that camp, actually, with James Christian Full, and it was called Transylvania Music Camp back in those days. But anyway, she would sit for hours listening to my dad's orchestra rehearsals, and when I was little, I'd run through the woods listening. They had practice cabins all through the woods, and I would run from cabin to cabin listening to hear, is that my dad? Is that my dad? You know. So I really started very, very young with my music.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting. What was his name?
Willis Coggins.
Willis Coggins.
And you know the Mel Bay band method books? Well, he wrote the saxophone books.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
So, yeah, he was amazing. The musicality that just oozed out of him was incredible. And so I just feel really blessed. But it was my mom. I mean, his musicality was wow. But it was my mom who made sure that we got to piano lessons and choir and band and dance and Girl Scouts and swimming lessons. I mean, all of the things that we did. And she made sure that we were always at Dad's concerts whenever possible. So I really got to grow up with all of that music and started at a very young playing piano. And that was my main instrument was piano. Of course, I played clarinet and sax too in junior high and high school band, but went to college in music ed, and piano was my instrument. Wow. So I got into college, and I got into my junior year teaching, and went out to junior high school band director, and then I realized I'd rather bag groceries than to be a junior high school band director. Gosh.
I remember when I was in college the second time, and I was doing the program for music education in the schools, and the common wisdom was, if you love children, do junior high or elementary school. If you love your subject, do high school or college.
Yeah,
that was really good advice.
Well, for at least our generation, there weren't a lot of other choices in music other than performance or education. So I was just about ready to switch to music therapy and go to a different college. I met Steve, and we were going to get married, and he lived in Nashville, so I was going to switch to college over there. And music therapy was a brand new field, and I still think it would have been amazing to go into that. But we did a sort of a quick turn and ended up in Hawaii instead. So
Hawaii.
Yeah. So anyway, when Steve and I met, he came from country music and Appalachian and bluegrass and pop music background, and I came from classical and jazz, and piano was my instrument, but we started heading out to travel to play music together, and I couldn't carry a piano with me. So he gave me a mandolin, said, "Here, play this." So I started playing mandolin, and I did chop, 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 for a lot of years, and did that with him for many years. And we traveled out in Asia and the Pacific from Hawaii. We did tours out there. And then we worked, when we were home, we worked in resorts and hotels, restaurants, and that kind of thing. So my piano playing went away, and I started playing that mandolin, and singing became a lot more important at that point in my life. So.
Well, I know that Steve is quite the songwriter, and I've heard your beautiful compositions as well. So the two of you have grown together beautifully as musicians and together as a duo.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It's really interesting. For the first part of our marriage, I really sort of supported his music, and then when I got introduced to the hammered dulcimer, the roles switched, and he started supporting mine musically, and besides he just encouraged me. It was like he handed me that mandolin. He was like, "Here, you should play the hammered dulcimer."
Tell me how you guys found that. I mean, how did you get involved with the hammered dulcimer?
Well, when we left Hawaii, we moved to the mountains here in North Carolina, to Boone, and we went to a festival in the fall. It was an autumn thing, Apple Festival, and somebody was playing hammered dulcimer. She had a sign on it that said, "This is a hammered dulcimer." And for those of you who might know, I didn't figure this out for until 15 years later or something, but it was Cindy Ribbett who was playing at that festival, and some of you would know her. So that was sort of fun to make that connection later. So that's where we heard it. And Steve he was doing a radio show at the university, and he had done a show on dulcimers and Mary Green and let's see, who else? I can't remember. But anyway, it was about Hammered and Mount Dulcimer, the show he did. It was really cool, really great show. So anyway, he had collected some music to play, and we heard Jim Taylor. One of the first things that I heard was Jim Taylor's album, and I love that Come Before Winter. Some of you have probably taken that from me because it's such a beautiful, beautiful song. So anyway, he started collecting all of these different bits of music, and I just fell in love with the sound, you know. And for me, it was like all of my musicality from the past and the piano playing, it just all of a sudden clicked. It fit right on the hammered dulcimer. I had been a vocalist for the years before, had been sort of my primary thing, but then I ended up with some medical problems and I couldn't sing anymore. But when I found the hammered dulcimer, it was like, wow, that's my voice. You know, the hammered dulcimer is my voice now, my musical voice. The only thing is, he got me one at that point from a local guy, had it made out of koa wood, which is my favorite Hawaiian wood. It's beautiful. Mac McKinney at High Country Dulcimers. Anyway, I learned about 2.5 fiddle tunes, and I was very unfamiliar with fiddle tunes. I just hadn't ever really played them that much, you know. We did some bluegrass, but I hadn't done like fiddle tune stuff. So I learned about 2.5 melodies and decided I didn't like the instrument because it wasn't a piano. I couldn't figure out where the notes were. You know, it didn't make any sense to me at all, and I didn't have anybody really to teach me about the layout. So it sort of sat, you know, like the Nordic track over in the corner kind of thing, you know, with the clothes draped over it, you know. It sat like that for, oh gosh, almost 10 years, I think. I really didn't play it much at all for about 10 years. Then I had a kidney transplant. And after the kidney transplant, that thing was in the corner. It was staring me down, and it was saying, don't you dare quit on me, you know. So I decided I'm going to try and learn this. And so while I was healing from the transplant, I was learning the hammered dulcimer. And just the sound that comes up from that instrument is incredible. And, you know, music is so healing to us in so many ways. I mean, spiritually, emotionally, but also physically. It can really actually physically heal parts of our bodies. So I believe that firmly. Anyway, so that was when I really fell in love with the hammered dulcimer. I had time. You know, our son was grown by then, and it was just time. And that just fell in love with playing it.
You might not be amazed, but one of the things that is a common thread in these conversations is turning to music at times of physical or emotional need, healing, recuperation.
Right.
And there are so many of us who have done similar things. Erin May and I both. And I remember Nina Zanetti talking about that too. So it is definitely true, that healing power of music to enter us, and also to be an expression that we couldn't do any other way.
Right.
My
Right,
favorite
exactly.
my favorite professor of music was trying to explain something once in a class, and I'd been taking classes from him for 3 years, right? And he was just suddenly tongue-tied, and he said, music is far too precise for words. And I've remembered that ever since, 25 years now, because there are things that you can only experience through music.
Right.
Right.
Well, I think any of us who have made this made music a part of our lives and performing for other people, probably many of us have experienced playing something and just seeing somebody in the crowd listening, just crying, I really believe that God uses it to touch our hearts and reach into our souls and heal things that are hidden or bring things out so that they can be dealt with. The ancient Greeks believed that music and science were two sides of the same coin, and that the music side could do that. It could reach down deep inside and bring healing and help to whatever needs to be helped. So
how lovely that you've captured that piece of information. I know with the Greeks in studying theory, not theater, what they always talked about is that those plays were meant to bring on catharsis in everyone. That point of just, breaking through all of the, I have it all together, all the stoicism to the emotional, to the heart, to the feeling center. Yeah.
Theater, that's cool.
Yeah, the theater.
Yeah. They were very intentional then. Yeah. That's so cool.
I love it. I'm Greek, by the way. That's what humoris is Greek.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. So you embodied it, literally. Embodied the healing power of music for yourself.
Yes. Yeah, and I like to share that with other people, when I can. So it's a huge blessing to be able to do that and to play music for others, to see it affect other people in whatever way, I still think maybe it would have been nice for me to take some music therapy. And I've also thought about, the whole actually going back to school and, studying. Problem is, with my medical situation, I really can't be going into hospitals and nursing homes and, doing the hospice thing.
Right.
It's just not smart for me. But anyway, I believe so strongly in it, though, and I admire the people who do that kind of work because it's incredibly important.
Right. I know Karen Ashbrook does it.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think. Cynthia Smith, who is a mountain dulcimer player, she is part of an organization that works with developmentally disabled adults and music therapy and arts therapy in general. And so many of our players have expressed their ties to that. Aubrey Atwater as well. So there are some of us doing that work that can, and you're bringing your music to students now. When did you start teaching?
Let's see. I guess I started around 2000. Let's see. I started actually really playing the hammer dulcimer in 2002. So I think I started teaching around 2005, maybe, teaching hammer dulcimer. Yeah. Went out to teach at the folks out at the Mountain View in Arkansas. That was the first place that I taught. They called me up out of the blue and said, "Do you teach?" And I said, "Yes." And I went out there and I absolutely fell in love with being able to share tips and hints and stuff, and it was great. And I'd actually studied a little bit at the John C. Campbell Folk School. Before I started teaching, I finally did find somebody to help me with figuring out the instrument and the layout. At the folk school, I took from Dave Neiman the first year I went, and I met a wonderful friend, Bess Kreider, who introduced me to the entire whole, there's this dulcimer world out there, you know.
Yes.
And it was so wonderful and surprising. Then I took from, I think Rick Thumb was next at the folk school, and then Ken Kolodner. So I got a nice mix of confusing things. Well, no, it's just I love it because Rick is right-hand lead and Ken is left-hand lead. And so I still to this day play fiddle tunes with a right-hand lead and everything, you know, lyrical with a left-hand lead. Hey, it works for me.
I know from Mountain Dulcimer Players, so many of us are self-taught that when we find other people, it's like, well, I take what I can from them, but I've never played with my pinky before, that sort of thing. Is it similar for hammer dulcimer players? Are you individually coming to it and figuring it out, and then you come across other people?
I think so. I think that we feel like we're out there on an island all by ourselves. I know I felt that way, and so it was a great relief. See, I was a music educator, and I thought, well, this is like a piano. I know I can teach myself, and I had a really bad teacher. My teacher taught me some things that were not helpful as I moved on forward into Dulcimer land and learning how to play the instrument and the main thing was just learning the layout. You know, everything I had played in my whole life was linear, this way or this way, and so the hammer dulcimer is not. But actually, the hammer dulcimer layout is so brilliant. It's fantastic, and once you understand it, oh my goodness, it's just absolutely brilliant to play.
I love the sound. I love the way that that all of you are able to do such different stuff on it. I mean, we've got,
Yes.
you know, Colin Beasley, right? Who is an improviser par excellence. Not the only kind of improvisation, but he really smashes that. And then, as you say,
Yes.
Rick Thumb, who is just so amazing with all of the traditional tunes. And Katie Moritz and all of you all play so differently. And I
Right.
love that. I love that it's so versatile. I mean, Tina
Well,
Burton, I've
yes.
watched do some jazz
Yeah.
with her husband on the bass. I'm like, wow, I
Right.
didn't know it was a jazz
Right.
instrument.
Well, Max ZT, have you heard him? He's
Yes.
super jazz. I mean,
Yeah.
he's really amazing. I think the thing is, it's just so fantastic is that we can express our own personalities through the instrument, and that's so important. I really feel like, you know, if we don't make our own music, certainly nobody else is going to, and so that music that's inside of you will be just lost if you don't use it, if you don't share it with other people.
Yes.
So I love the idea of being able to express who I am through music. And every time I try to play like somebody else, I just flop. Uh, you know, now I think it's really great to study other people, study with them, and to learn from them, and to take ideas that they have and incorporate it into your own music. And that's what makes it your own music, is taking other people's things and things that you hear and ideas that other people have and sort of mushing it together, making your own music. So
And speaking of making your own music, you do composition as well, right?
yes, yeah, I have done some, and I love it. The only thing I don't like is when I start to write something, I have to finish it. I it's like I must finish. Can't stop thinking about it. It's going on like a loop in my head until I get it done. So I don't get sleep for a couple of days.
Well, you don't have to get up at 8 o'clock and teach a bunch of junior high kids. So you're okay.
Thank you. Yeah, true. Oh gosh. What a gift though. I mean the whole Dulcimer thing brought a whole new musical life, you know. We started I started learning more music, different kinds of music, was introduced to wonderful people, developed new friends. Um, Learned about jamming, which is really fun. I'd never done that before, until the Dulcimer world. And it's so much fun to just
Yeah,
sit and jam
yeah.
with other people. So, like I say, it just travel too. I mean, the Dulcimer world just brought a whole new part of our musical lives for the last 22 years. It's been amazing. Yeah, yeah,
So do you
really
tend to
amazing.
travel and teach and perform as a duo most of the time, or do you do
Yes.
separate
Yeah.
things mostly as a
No.
duo?
Yeah. 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 I mean, we've been doing it for 50 years now, so
Yeah. Yes.
it's who we are.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
actually, we have picked up other musicians, in the past. In the bluegrass band, we always had a banjo player with us, one from New Zealand and one from Japan,
Wow.
um, and then now we play with a flute professor here at the university nearby. Nancy is amazing on the flute. So
Hmm.
the three of us play, and we actually did a tour in the UK together, the three of us. So, but mostly it's just Steve and I for most of these 50 years.
Hmm. Hmm. I one of the things I love is all the couples who end up performing together. Like Larry and Elaine
Hmm.
Conger and my husband and I as the Dulcimates.
Right.
It's a
Yes.
special connection in the couple world to be
Hmm.
able to be musicians together. And
Yes.
for many years, it was, I mean, my husband and I have been together almost 50 years. But
Hmm.
for many of those years, I was not asking him to be part of the band. And when I did, I did it because I went, you know, this band cannot break up. We have to work through whatever comes up,
Yes. Uh huh. Yeah,
right?
that's
Because on
true.
two different levels. And
That's true.
it's been good. It's been good for both
Yeah.
our personal development and for the musical development for both of us.
Hmm. Yeah.
And it's wonderful to
It
have a partner to bounce things off of who's right there.
it is. It is. And Steve and I very often have opposite opinions about, especially when we're recording. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, yeah. But it's a good thing because, like you say, you bounce the ideas off of each other, and I think you end up with a better product if you're doing the recording, or a better performance, because of that. You sort of balance each other out. So it's a good thing.
Yes.
It's really a blessing to be able to do that, work as a couple
Mhm.
for all these years.
Mhm.
It's not always easy. Like I said,
No.
you have disagreements, but it's okay. Like I
Mhm.
said, and like you said, you sort of work things through, and then you end up better.
Well, I got a lot of practice with two or three other bands that all broke up, so I knew what would break up a band, and I make sure not to do that.
Yeah, that's smart.
Well, what are you
That's
looking
very smart.
forward to, Ruth?
Um, well, let's see. Always enjoy Quarantunes. It's coming up in February. So love teaching at that. That's really wonderful.
Mhm.
I'll be teaching by myself out in Colorado at the Colorado Dulcimer Festival.
Right.
And that
That's near
looking forward
Denver,
to, and
right?
that's actually live. I'm actually going to be in front of real people. That'll be really
Yes.
nice.
Yes. And
I got it.
I was so grateful you were able to join the Dulcimoon faculty for the 2006 festival.
Right, right. And that's coming up in January. So
Right?
coming up
Right.
very
Middle.
soon, about a month. Yeah.
Yeah. Almost
So
exactly a month. Yeah.
that'll be so much fun. And I'm really
Yeah.
grateful to get to take part in that. That'll be
I'm so
really
glad
good.
we needed one more hammer dulcimer teacher so that we could
Uh-huh.
make sure there was a full program for everyone who, at
Hmm.
whatever level they were in
Yeah.
playing for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, your colleagues for that are Mary Lynn Michael
Hmm.
and Ann Lowe. So the
Yes.
three of you
Yeah.
are our hammer dulcimer teachers this year. I'm so
Yeah.
grateful. It's great.
Yep. I'm really looking forward to that.
Great.
I've wanted to be involved, so thank you so much for asking.
You're more than welcome. It's been a lovely group of people that we've been able to work with over these 4 years,
Yeah.
and I love the idea that it's woman led, but everyone's welcome.
Hmm. Right.
We have kids events, even free kids events. So Roxanne McDaniel is going to be leading those, and
Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah.
yeah, it's going to be very sweet,
Oh,
very
that'll be
sweet.
fun.
So
Yeah, I really appreciate what y'all are doing and just the open spirit that you have in making sure to promote women in the Dulcimer community. It's really a fabulous thing that you guys are doing.
thank you, thank you. It's
Yeah.
you know I just figured that with everything, with quarantine doing 3 events a year,
Hmm.
and those events, what, up to like 1,500, 2,000 participants, I
Yeah, it's
figured
gotten big.
it's huge. I figured that there was room for a smaller one that was focused on women leaders.
Hmm.
That's the only
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, I'm
Well,
looking forward to
I'm
that with you. What else is
yeah.
going on in your life with the music?
Well, I am getting used to a new dulcimer, which is
Ah,
wonderful. I love my Masterworks dulcimers that Russell Cook makes.
mhm.
I used to play a big 5 octave instrument, and a few years back, Steve and I realized that we weren't getting younger and our backs weren't getting stronger. So I
Mhm.
wanted to move to a smaller instrument, especially one that I could fly with and just put in the overhead container. But I wasn't interested in giving up quality at all. And so Russell he makes this amazing instrument. It's a 1717 extended range, and it is 4.5 octaves. So I'm not missing any notes, but it's in a smaller body and it fits in the overhead compartments. It's about 13 pounds. It's just an amazing instrument. One thing I really, really, really wanted was something that would respond to my touch because that's really important to me. And so
Mhm.
when I started playing the Masterworks, it did that. I could
Mm.
get the dynamics that I want and the expressiveness that I want. So that was really important to me. And also, just the sound of his instruments are amazing, really. So got a second one as a backup, but I'm trying to decide I might like it better than the first one now. I don't know.
So even for hammer dulcimers, it's true that the answer to how many dulcimers you need is just one more.
One more. It's not quite the same as what
Okay.
mountain dulcimer players do, because you wouldn't have any room in your house for all of the hammered dulcimers.
Exactly. Exactly.
But I have to say, how many mountain dulcimers do I have? I think I don't know, I've got 3 mountain dulcimers, I think.
Hmm.
And right now I'm just down to 3 hammered. So I
Okay.
love playing the mountain. Oh no, I think I have 4 mountain dulcimers.
They don't take up as much space.
That's right.
I have a courting dulcimer over in the corner
Oh
here
yeah.
that my husband and we just, I mean, it was literally like in somebody's trash. And we took it to the luthier. Thank
Oh
goodness
wow.
for our luthiers, right?
Yes.
And
Amen.
builders. And he cleaned it up and said, well, it's not very great, but it's playable. And so we can play that. I would
Cool.
never have bought myself a
Yeah.
courting dulcimer. We courted
I
long
think.
ago.
Well, you need to get your husband to play with you then. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. We have to
Yeah.
sit down and play that. He does play with me all the time, but we haven't played that. Now I'm looking at it and going, yeah, I should get that out.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
I think they're cool. I've never played on one, but I think sitting knee to knee with somebody you love
Mhm.
playing the dulcimer would be really awesome.
Yeah, it is sweet. And I
Yeah.
know that the folklore about it is that parents would sit them down, the courting youngsters down,
Hmm.
and they would play. And when the music stopped, they'd go back in their room because they were probably up to something, right?
Yeah, I mean it was a way to keep tabs on the kids.
Right. That's right. Well,
Yeah.
Ruth, this has been wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time today
Well, thank
to
you. I appreciate you
talk with
having
me.
me.
And
Yeah, it's fun.
for the rest of you, if you are following Ruth and you'd like to be taking some of her classes, we're going to be doing several classes. I think 3 or 4 classes in the program. So just go to
Yes.
dulcimoon.com, Dulcimoon, just like the Dulcimoon talks.
Yeah.
And we would love to see you at the festival or the concerts.
Yes,
Um,
please come.
Please, please come. The concerts are so wonderful. I tell my students all the time, we don't get enough opportunities to hear and watch other
Mm.
Dulcimer players. So at least the concerts, please. All right. Thanks so much. We'll say goodbye
Thank
for now.
you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.
Success!
Yay. That was great, Ruth.